Hello, my friends, and welcome back to learning Torah Lishma. The Heilige Shem HaKadosh, one of his great teachings is B'chol deracheha de'eyu. In all your ways, in everything a person does, in his day-to-day actions, de'ehu. Know him, know Hashem, know how to connect it to the service of God. And this is something that by certain circles and a bit in general is forgotten, even to a certain extent by the Talmidei HaBaal Shem. And that is that they think that Kedusha, what does it mean to be holy? What does it mean to be close to Hashem? That is to learn Torah, which definitely, that is one of the pillars of being close to Hashem, absolutely. But to say that that's basically it, that is a mistake. The Baal Shem Tov teaches us that a person, his person has to be immersed, not just in Torah, but in all the actions that a human being needs to do as being a balanced human being on this world. He has to do with fervor and love in all his actions, even the action of eating, right? Which could sometimes be difficult to say. How could you do that with Kedusha? How could you do that with holiness? Right? The food tastes good. You're thinking about the food tasting good. The Baal Shem Tov teaches us that yes, the food tastes good, and you think that Hashem made the food taste good. Thank you, Hashem. The food gives you nourishment to learn. Thank you, Hashem. In the food there could be neshamas, people's souls that need to be elevated by you blessing the food. Hopefully you know how to say a blessing. If you don't know, you could say it in your own language. Thank you, Hashem, for this food. And this is when it comes to husband and wife. That great love that you have together, you thank Hashem for giving this. Hashem could have just created man, just created woman, and he created both. Thank you, Hashem. We're not going to get into why Hashem at the beginning just created Adam Rishon and he wanted him to ask for Chava, meaning Hashem created the whole world. Everything in the world has a zachar and a keva, male and female, but mankind, he just made a man, and he wanted him to ask for the female. We're just going to get into it a tiny bit because that's a whole nother shiur, a whole nother Jewish class on that, why Hashem did that. But just to understand it in a simple level, a human being is different than an animal. The ability of the mind, of the intelligence, and the physical abilities to use that is tremendous. And because of that, Hashem, by the other animals, just giving them a male and a female, that was enough for them to appreciate. But for a person, Hashem wanted them that they should ask for the spouse, that they should want it to be created, and therefore mankind would know forever, right? Even if you go to, everybody knows that we asked for a spouse, and therefore that makes it so much more special, and it helps us with our connection to our spouse. So now getting back, so Hashem did such chesed, and that love that you have between a man and a wife, you say, thank you, Hashem, for giving me this, and now you understand that your level of love and devotion to Hashem could also be greater. You learn that Because if you could have this for your wife, for your husband, then you could even have more than this for Hashem. And this, in everything a person does, da'ehu, know Hashem, know His kindness, and know that He gave this, and at the same time know the lessons that He's trying to teach you through this mitzvah, through this commandment, through this pleasure that He created in this world, through whatever scenario it may be. So, in life, you cannot live if you don't eat. In life, you need to get married, otherwise a person's broken. In life, you need to make money. Whenever the money is at your time, you need to make money. Without it, you can't survive. Many things in life are a must. It's not even an option. And just to focus on the fact that you're learning and forget in all the other areas to approach it with holiness, like the Baal Shem Tov teaches, da'eyu, to know Hashem in all your actions. This is something very important that we need to remember. And as we've talked about in another shiur, there's many actions that when we do it, we're actually fulfilling a commandment in the Torah. In the Bible, we're actually fulfilling a commandment. When that occurs and you have it in mind that you want to be Mekayim Hashem's will, then you actually get mitzvahs Talmud Torah with it. Because that is physically the level of when you're learning, you're saying it, you're thinking it, that level of action is lower than physically doing it. So that is also mitzvahs Talmud Torah. Now, also, when you just do the will of Hashem, the will of God, right? The mitzvahs are itim, their advice. It's starting points, very high level starting points for a Jew. He has 613, and for someone that's not a Jew, someone that's a Gentile, God gave him 7. These are starting points, and these are a must, whether you like it or not. Growing further than that is the privilege of a person to accept upon themselves, to become even more refined, even better. And right, and that is what the pasuk tells us, Kedoshim to you, Ki Kadosh Ani. Hashem says, I want you to be holy because I am holy. Go in my ways. I give you a starting point, but I want you to continue and go in my ways. This is extremely important for a person living. You're on this world. You're here. If you're listening to me, you're here, right? So this is extremely important, that everything we do in life, we work hard to do good. We should be a force of good in life. And all those actions, we do it for the sake of Hashem, for the sake of God. And it's not just that when we learn the Torah, you understand that then we connect to holiness, but in every action that you do, in every good deed you do, and in every kindness that you do, you connect to Hashem, you connect to God. This is the lesson, the teaching of the Holy Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh. Hashem, I love you, and Hashem loves you more. And I want to wish you a wonderful, wonderful day.